Hi everyone, it's me, Krylios, Team Rayceen Productions co-host and moderator.
And I'm Kim R. Ford, Team Rayceen Productions co-host and moderator.
Joining us is Salim Adofo. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm glad I can have this experience and thank you for providing the opportunity.
Well, thanks so much for joining us. Before we talk about your 2024 primary election campaign to represent Ward 8 on the Council of the District of Columbia, please tell viewers a little bit about your background and who you are.
Well, once again, my name is Salim Adofo. Currently, I serve as the chairperson of Advisory Neighborhood Commission 8C. I've been a commissioner since 2019, elected chair in 2021, and been a chair ever since. Army veteran. I worked in the finance battalion and I was stationed in Hawaii. It was a tough tour of duty, but it was a really good experience. And during that experience, I had an opportunity to see government operate in a very strategic and organized fashion. And that helped me throughout my time as a commissioner and currently as a commissioner in understanding policy and understanding how we have to work within different groups of people who we may not necessarily always agree with, but come out with the understanding that we're here for the mission. Academically, I attended the University of the District of Columbia. I majored in political science and had the opportunity to do some great things at the university. I was awarded the Student Civic and Humanitarian Award in 2022. I've also served on the board of the United Planning Organization, Far Southeast Family Strengthening Collaborative, NACP, DC branch, and a host of other community organizations. And in my spare time, when I have so, I like to do photography and I like music as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. And oh, that was a lovely, lovely, lovely resume. So, let us get into why, our viewers are interested, of course, in you. And so we want to talk about the position for which you are running and why you wanted to be elected to it. So please expound.
Well, the position that I'm running for is the Ward 8 member of the Council of the District of Columbia. In this position, you're charged with helping to balance the city's budget, and you're also in charge of creating opportunities to improve the city through legislation. In my role as a commissioner, we make recommendations towards policy. So we don't always get a chance to take the recommendations we want and then put them into play. You have to make that recommendation to the mayor and to council. And then hopefully they'll take your recommendation and push it forward. Unfortunately for us, a lot of times that's not able to happen because of a variety of reasons, as far as how commissioners are seen, as well as the amount of authority you have. You're supposed to have great weight, but it isn't always there. And so that helped me to understand how important it is to be at that decision making seat. We have quite a few commissioners who are very committed to making our ward and our city better. And having worked in this space with them, as well as civic associations, nonprofits, and community based organizations, we want to be able to be included in the decision making process. We want to be able to be, included in the discussion around a lot of things that happen with us. And so, being the champion of the collective consensus model and process, I wanted to take this opportunity to take it to the next level and have the voices of many of our residents who are not heard be heard in those spaces. A lot of times when I look at the hearing record, I rarely see residents from Ward 8 as a part of the hearing record. So one of the things that I've done over the last 4 years was to make sure that we can have opportunities for residents to testify and be on the official record so that we can hear the voices of Ward 8 residents. Currently, we just don't see that happening. So that's one of the reasons why I want to be able to run this, so I can make sure that the voices of this community are heard and that they're on the record and that we can have a consensus agreement for how we want to see the war move forward.
Well, great. Thank you for that. Please let our viewers know, what are your top 3 issues?
My top 3 issues are issues that I've talked to many residents across the ward with in the last few months, but also from what I've seen as an advisory neighborhood commissioner, just as a resident here. Top one would be food access. Currently, we have one full service grocery store east of the river, and I'm stressing east of the river because we do have two west of the river. And food access is very important for a variety of reasons. We need access to healthy fruits and vegetables. We need access to everyday products that people need. And currently, we just aren't able to get that in the space that's conducive to everybody. So, increasing our food access. Next would be issues around housing. There are tons of apartments throughout this ward that deal with issues around mold, flooding. We see broken locks, just general maintenance repairs. So I will be pushing for the Department of Buildings to be able to increase their number of inspectors so that we can make sure that buildings that are of a certain age or a certain size are consistently is the key word here, inspected so that we can keep them up to code, as well as DC Housing Authority, making sure that they can make the necessary repairs that we have. And the next issue I would say would be a school year internship program. When we're looking at our young people, we're often saying, well, they don't have nothing to do. They're getting into a variety of activities that aren't, conducive to their well-being. That will put them on a trajectory of being justice involved. So I would say that when we're looking at public safety, it's all of these things combined, actually. So I look at public safety not as simply as punishment or quote unquote holding someone accountable, but you're the safest when you're filled with the most resources. And so going back to the school year internship program, that would be something under DOES, Department of Employment Services, but it also helps children get on a career path at an early age. We need to be able to start preparing our young people to be adults at the same time, still allowing them to enjoy their teenage years, because we don't get those back. And so we don't want them to spend it all the time just working, but we want to put them in an environment where they can still have fun and still learn. So once again, I'll just reiterate that we're talking about food access, housing, and getting our children involved in activities that would be conducive, to their well-being, which all fall under the umbrella of public safety.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, when voters go to the polls and they see your name on the ballot, why are you the best choice for them this election cycle?
I'm the best choice because I'm willing to make a decision. We need to be able to elect leaders who want to make decisions. And making a decision isn't myself just sitting at the dais and saying, yes, I vote for this bill, or no, I don't vote for this bill. Being able to make a decision that's effective and that's inclusive is, for example, we're now approaching budget season. This isn't something new. So we know every year around this time, we're going to have to talk about the budget. And I don't need to wait until February and March to talk about the budget. This can be an ongoing conversation. There are people right now lobbying our mayor, lobbying our council for things they want to see in next year's fiscal budget, right? They're preparing for 2 years down the line. So these are conversations that we need to consistently have. And we need to do the type of engagement, no matter where you fall out on the spectrum of your understanding of the city's budget. We need to get your opinion and keep you inclusive. So when I'm going to make that decision as your spokesperson, I can sense and honestly say, I've included you in this process, and we're going to go up together or we're going to go down together, but we're going to do it together. Right. So that's just one reason. I also look at the role of a council member as someone who has to leverage their authority and their oversight to improve many of these agencies. We have school buildings, for example, that are still dealing with HVAC issues. And oftentimes I see our leaders go into the school buildings the beginning of August, knowing that school is going to start in a couple of weeks. And then they talk to the school leaders, and then something is ordered or it's on back order. They got to get DGS involved, and we hear all of this stuff. But these issues are going around all school year, right? So I want to be somebody who can leverage my authority and my position to have these types of issues worked on continuously, not just for the video footage and the photo op on social media or the news to say, hey, I went and visited the school in August, because we know it's difficult to get something massive as an HVAC fixed in a couple of days, right? So providing better oversight and being able to, something that I think is really important that is not listed in the books anywhere as a role in that, but it's being an example, for our younger people as to what we can aspire to be and how we can get there. We need to raise the bar to a standard of excellence. And we need to be able to see that in all aspects of what we do as leaders. Does that mean we're not going to make mistakes? Does that mean we're not going to be perfect? No. But we need to have a certain level of professionalism and decorum in our role. And I think I can bring that to the position.
Thanks for that. Now, please tell our viewers, when does voting begin?
So voting actually begins really early this year. The Board of Elections is scheduled to tentatively mail out ballots April 29th. So you could receive your ballot as early as April 30th or, May 1st. And once you get it in the mail, then you can mail it back that same day. So I would tell everybody to make sure your voter registration is up to date with the address that you currently live at. And as soon as you get that, you can drop that off. However, the last day to vote is going to be June 4th. So you can have your ballot in hand and mail it in, or you can take it to one of the polling stations in your neighborhood and you can vote that way.
Awesome. Please keep those dates in mind, viewers. And speaking of the viewers, how can they learn more about you, learn more about your campaign, volunteer, and support if they want?
Yes, you can go to my website. It's my first and last name.com, salimadofo.com, SALIMADOFO. You can also find me on any social media platform with the same name. I'm responding to folks, so you'll actually be talking to me. You won't be talking to a bot. I love the human interaction. And I think what's important is for us to be accessible. I'm gonna be honest, I get a lot of messages, so make sure you leave your contact information and wait for me to respond to you when you reach out.
Well, that's great. Thank you for that, viewers. Please look in the description below for the links. And Salim, thank you so much for being here and for sharing about yourself and your campaign. And best of luck.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And to those watching, please follow Team Rayceen on social media.
And click around our YouTube channel and check out our other interviews, forums, vlogs, and more. And while you're there, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. But most of all, viewers, thank you for watching.